Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed once again Friday night on the bus, and you know what that means. It's time to get that Friday feeling because, yes, Celtic are back in action again this weekend. The games are coming thick and fast because it is the Christmas schedule. It's just going to be games galore up until the end of 2023. But yes, St Johnstone await for the second week in a row. Celtic find himself in a position to go 11 points clear because no damage done last week, but I'm sure we'll touch on that at some point tonight. But as you can see, tonight's Friday night team who are joining me, I've got the man who's top of the By the Numbers leaderboard after his amazing performance last week at 9 out of 10. And my usual sort of Friday night cohort says tradition on bus. It's bus heritage on a Friday night that me and Liam are on the same show. So yes, Liam, back again for a second week in a row, mate. Riding high after your performance last week, obviously.
I'm still beating myself up for that 1 point I lost. You know, I was like, I had that in my head, and I went, oh no, I'll say the other one instead. I knew it was Dunfermline, and then it was like, all right, but I don't know, something made me say, no, it's too easy. Panicked.
He did score against Hibs and Dunfermline, but his first goal and his last goal for Celtic were both against Dunfermline. Although it's the last goal, everybody remembers the last one against Dunfermline, that 8-1 victory we had at East End Park. I think he scored like the 7th goal on the day. My God, it was the loudest cheer of the whole afternoon. Incredible scenes. But speaking of By the Numbers, stepping up to challenge Liam tonight. He only found out about this before he came on. He didn't read the fine print before he came on tonight. I know that, Connor, you're afraid of the quizzes, but hey, you've got to do it, mate. You're on the Friday night show, so you're going to step up later and have a play of it. See if you can get that perfect game. Only one score can beat Liam, so we'll try you out later on that. But other than the fear of the quiz looming, Connor, how are you feeling tonight, mate?
I'm sick as a dog, so hopefully I'll be able to get through the podcast. But the listeners can, breathe a sigh of relief. I'm on the water tonight, so I won't be talking as much shite as usual, or as I was before. So you're all right. But I think the crushing reality of that Celtic are probably going to be shite in Europe for the rest of my life is just my body has just decided to give up and just say, oh, that's it, it's over. So you can just die along with Celtic hopes of being successful in Europe.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll be touching on that performance we be giving our say performance. What performance? But yeah, we will be touching on that as well as obviously looking ahead to the St Johnstone game as well tonight. So yeah, folks, before we do all that, of course, as per usual, just of course remember to hit that like button. As I say, algorithm CSC helps us out massively. The more likes, the more even dislikes, they do that as well. As long as it's interactions, that always pushes it. YouTube will always push an active channel. So it gets our name and more people's recommended videos. Obviously, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. I believe 4,500 is the next milestone target for us. So if you could help us along the way, that'd be fantastic. Hit the bell notification to be reminded when the bus is on the road, which is quite a lot during the week. And of course, get involved in our comment section tonight, like so many people have. Also become a member, as Boyce likes to shout people out, like Scott Howe's done, like Jim Dolan has done, like San Fran Celtic. Who else is there? No other green dots. I'm a member though. Russell always, for some reason, gives me jip for it and always laughs at it whenever he brings up my name with the wee green mark next to it. But he's like, but yeah, you can obviously do that for $1.99 a month. All our content remains free. It just helps to keep traction of the bus going. And of course, you could share the link of the Boise Bus far and wide on whatever social media platform you wish. And of course, head over to piesports.com, whatever the logo is on what side of the screen, because I never can point to it first time. I never ever get that right. But basically, the logo up there next to Liam's head, piesports.com, use the code BUS1888 and get yourself 12.5% off your tasty treats order. And yes, that's us all good and done. All the housekeeping is done. So yeah. We're off to Perth this weekend, permitting that the weather behaves itself, because it is effing cold out there, I'll tell you that much for nothing. And I don't know what the conditions will be like in Perth come Sunday. I suspect the words pitch inspection will come up at some point. But yes, St Johnstone, the last time we played them, Liam, it was a 0-0 draw at Celtic Park. It was drab. It was awful. Some of the games recently have been of a similar ilk. We're hoping not to see the same again. And it's a different manager that's in dugout this time for St Johnstone. It's Craig Levein. He's back in Scottish football. But yeah, he will be the adversary this weekend, providing the game goes ahead. You're looking forward to it, man?
Oh, I see Craig Levein's beautiful brand of attacking football that he's well famous for both Scotland and Hearts. And they're just going to dug in. It's going to be like World War I, trench warfare.
Yep.
With Right, like the way they played last time and the way we were expecting to play this time, it's like it'll be very, very hard for our players to get on to express themselves with the ball, but maybe that's the opportunity we need right now as well. Well, I was listening to Alistair Johnstone, listening to Brendan Rodgers, two really good interviews. We talked about it in the chat, and about players, behind the ball and then having to break them down when you go from Champions League back to Scottish League, and sometimes it can be hard. And so it'll be interesting to see tomorrow how Brendan's going to shape the team and just see what we got. I mean, it's a 4 o'clock in the morning game for me, which I don't mind. But I'm interested to see how we respond to this. I want to see what sort of players we introduce and, how we're going to fix it. We're not in a domestics. Well, we're in a bit of a slump right now. So how's Brendan going to fix this? He's talking a good game on the, on the pre-game interviews and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully it is one of these conundrums. We are going to face a low block corner, even though it's an away game for us. It's usually a tactic these types of teams employ when they come to Glasgow, but even on his own pitch, I can't imagine Craig Levein being too adventurous, because we have actually gone up there in recent years. Our record at McDermott in recent years has been no bad. Under Brendan, first time around, we had a few rousing victories up there. There was a game in particular where we beat them 6-0, and James Forrest, who's quite topical this week, scored 4 that day. I don't think that'll be happening this weekend, but obviously, and again, I always say this, I feel like I say this every week on the Friday feel on top of these domestic games. A wee early goal wouldn't go amiss, would it, on a Sunday? Just to basically throw their game plan out the window corner.
Aye, but that's easier said than done. Granted, obviously the game goes ahead. I mean, if you think that what they did at Celtic Park was bad, they're going to be doing it at McDermott Park, which is, a much smaller pitch, and they're going to be so compact. So it's going to be like what they did at St John at Celtic Park, like on steroids. So we're going to have to work very, very hard in order to try and break that down. It's under Craig Levein, I think they've got a result in the 3 of the last 4 games, and they've only been beat once, which was by Hearts at Tynecastle, and it was only by 1 goal. So Craig Levein looks like he's steadying the ship, as it were, at St Johnstone, because they were looking in bad shakes at the start of the season. They hadn't obviously won a game when we played them, and now he looks to be kind of trying to settle things up there, and they have everything in their wheelhouse, or their side of the court, as it were, this weekend. They'll have the weather, they'll have the pitch, they'll have the low block, which we have really struggled to break down this season. It is really, really worrying me. And Celtic playing St Johnstone, and the word worrying should not be in the same sentence. It should never be in the same sentence, but it is now, because I feel like this is a difference now. I'm going to go to a tangent. This is the difference now between, I think, Angie's Celtic and Rodgers' Celtic. I think Ange had one plan. It was plan A. It was attack. Yep. However, it was so gung-ho, so blitzkrieg, that teams just couldn't handle it, no matter how much they tried to put in a low block or try and shut the doors on us. It didn't work. I think teams are figuring out what Rodgers is doing far too easily now. Motherwell have done it to us. St Johnstone have done it to us. Hibs have done it to us. And they're no great sides. Hibs are shocking, St Johnstone are shocking, Motherwell were okay at the start. They've kind of fell off a bit of a cliff, but then somehow still managed to get a result against us at Celtic Park. All of these things shouldn't be happening. No. I'm not necessarily blaming Rodgers for that. I just think that he needs to try and experiment a bit. We are doing the exact same thing every single game. We're trying to cross the ball in for a tap in, or trying to walk the ball into the back of the net, essentially. We're not trying anything adventurous. We're not even trying 2 up top. We're not trying shots from outside of the box, any of the players, really. And if they do, they're ending up in fucking Rose Ed. So I think we need to really just try something different. And I can't believe I'm actually suggesting this, but I would start David Turnbull and Mikey Johnson on Sunday, purely for the fact that I know, for God's sake, this is how bad it is. I would start David Turnbull because we know he can take a shot from outside the box. and he can take a penalty, which helps.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to go for it, and we've seen him do it time and time again. He actually has quite a few goals against Motherwell, actually, funnily enough. His ex-club. And Mikey Johnstone, I know the result and the performance against Lazio was absolutely terrible. It was, borderline scandalous. However, when Mikey Johnstone did come on, he tried to put a little bit of impetus into the side and actually tried something, and looked as if he was trying to almost get a hold on the game. I'm not saying for everybody starts jumping down my throat. I'm not saying they're the answer. I'm not saying they're what we need. I'm saying far from it. They two players shouldn't even be at the club anymore. However, we've got to work with the tools that we've still got. Yep. So for me, I would start David Turnbull and Mikey Johnstone, because I feel like the Yang is, he's so fucking raw. He's an undercooked egg at this point.
Raw. Yep.
And I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying he's got so much development left in him that I feel like he's almost like a rabbit in the headlights when the game's going against him, where it looks like it's getting a bit tough. If he's not if we're no 1 or 2 goals up and we're no absolutely pummeling teams, I don't think he's as effective. So that's my reason why I would start Mickey Johnstone and David Turnbull on Sunday.
Yeah, no, that's a fair shout. See, we will obviously, that's definitely one of the talking points later on. We do get to the forward line, particularly Mikey Johnstone. It's been asked in the chat already about Mikey Johnstone, but we'll get to that. But obviously, defence will start. No point in debating the goalkeeper, because we know who's going to start there, Liam. We know it's always going to be the case, apart from that 1 week where Scott Bain had to play. But in defence through the week, I noticed quite an interesting narrative from some corners of the deepest, darkest parts of social media on Twitter, Celtic Twitter. I saw a name getting criticised for performances, which I thought the day would never come. I saw Cameron Carter-Vickers' name getting criticised for recent performances. What have you made of Carter-Vickers? Because I've seen some fans talking about maybe dropping from it, and I'm like, no. I know maybe his performance haven't been up to the standard that they've been in the last couple of years he's been with us. Maybe he has had a bit of a shaky spell, but geez, the idea of dropping him, that scares me to death, Liam. Surely not.
Do you think maybe he's not fully fit yet? That might be,
possibly, yeah.
That might be part of the issue. I was surprised to hear when they were interviewing Alistair Johnson that he said his ankle hadn't fully healed. And I think, I don't know. I mean, he looks good and all that, but there just doesn't seem to be clued in. Is it the relationship with Scales is so much different than Starfelt? Yeah. Because Starfelt was right-footed, right? Scales is left-footed, and maybe the way Starfelt had to turn in towards him, that was easier for him to help or whatever. But it has dropped off. I don't think he's dropped off so significantly as far as the rest of the team goes that you'd want to replace him at this point. Unless he's feeling the physicality and he needs a rest just to sort of heal a wee bit more, come back a stronger player. I think that's what could be it. If he was going to do that, I mean, you can't drop Scales now either, right? It's, well, not that they're undroppable, but there's just so much uncertainty. Now, Rocky, I like to look at him. Maybe it's worth it throwing him in for the first half, see what he's like. Or even better, move Scales to left back, see if we can make that position stronger, and put Naroki and CCV in the middle and see what sort of relationship we can start looking at there. And then we're getting a much more solid back four. We don't have that, I always say it's like a car, right? You got 3 big tyres and 1 wee tyre. And, that everybody's attacking down their left. We all know why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the opportunity to do that and then just see what happens. And that will help as well against a big team like St Johnstone.
It should do, but the Connor, did you notice as well the sort of narrative as well through the week? I mean, obviously, when we lose games, there's usually a meltdown on social media. Let's be honest. No, Celtic fans, we tend not to take defeat very well, even if it is in the Champions League. But yeah, obviously, I've seen a lot of talk as well about the second goal in particular. Say Carter-Vickers got a bit of flack for it. So did Scales. It maybe felt like some fans were just waiting for Scales to have a bit of a moment so they could pounce on him essentially and just go, see, I told you Scales wasn't the answer. I've said for a good while on here, like, I come on and I talk about every Friday when I preview the weekend's game, we get to the back line and Scales. It feels like there is a sort of feeling like some fans still can't believe that he's in the team. And I don't think long-term he really is the answer. But at the moment he's doing an okay enough job. Is he the step up that we need for Europe? Well, evidently not. He's played okay given the circumstances he was thrown in. He didn't ask to be thrown into this position, but he's done okay. But I did feel that on Tuesday night, a lot of fans were homing in on day 2 for the second goal. But at that point, I mean, we're already a goal down with minutes to go. For us to have turned it round at that point would have been, quite unlikely. So I think Sunday with the game, Liam mentioned Nawrocki there. He's got to come back in somewhere, but I still think that Brendan will stick with Carter Vickers and Scales. The idea of Carter Vickers not being in the team, regardless of how much a dip he's had, Connor, still scares me to death. I'd rather have him in at the moment than take a chance right now, because after last week and what we saw and how we kind of got off the hook, I'm not up for taking any chances right now. Until with that game looming against Rangers at the end of the month, we need to be picking our strongest team right now. And to me, Carter Vickers and Scales was still, I think, the best options right now at centre-back.
Aye, I mean, this is no the time for experimenting and trying, players in pretty solid positions. The only reason I'm suggesting that we bring in Turnbull and Mikey Johnson is because there's certain areas in those, there's certain positions in those areas where you kind of need to maybe try something different than now, because it's not looking too great at the minute. But the defence, I think domestically has been pretty solid. Nawrocki will not get another. Nawrocki's next game will be that Scottish Cup tie against Bucky Thistle.
Bucky Thistle, yeah.
That'll be it. That'll be his first game back, and we'll probably scalp him about 6 or 7, 8-0. And he was brilliant. You're like, this fucking Bucky Thistle, come on, mate. But or unless Scales or Carter Vickers gets injured, then we might, come on for some time, see how he has to fit in. But I pray God that doesn't happen, because I think domestically Carter Vickers and Scales have been pretty solid. In terms of European football, I think it's the same thing with Johnson. I think Johnson's been carrying an injury as well. I think he said that in his interview. He's still carrying a bit of a knock. So I think Carter Vickers is as well. He's not the type to moan about it or go to the press or come in an interview and go, I'm still struggling with injury. That's why he's not that kind of guy. So I think once he gets back up to his full fitness, he'll be fine. There's a reason why this guy's the best defender this league since Virgil van Dijk. Like, there's no two ways about it that he's at the level, And the thing with Scales, I can almost see him kind of having a Carl Starfelt-esque season where he's kind of still at the early stages. We're like, right, he's good, but he could get better. And then gradually in the season, Starfelt, we were like, oh my God, this guy's really, really good. He's actually pretty damn amazing in certain games, and I think Scales could, that could be his kind of season to come as well. I think in terms of other positions as well, it's kind of, it just depresses me looking at that left back position.
Interestingly enough, this question came from Sam Fassel. Has anyone watched the new Greg Taylor interview on Celtic TV? Me neither. I know that Liam loves a Greg Taylor interview on Celtic social media, don't you, Liam?
Mate, see, as soon as I seen it, I want to put my foot through the telly. See, after this, this fucking fair and all that going on, and I seen that. Oh, good, another interview with Greg Taylor. How many interviews have we done with Greg Taylor? And he's talking what? I got about 5 minutes into it. I turned it off after he was saying he counts how many games he's played 147 games for Celtic, and I'm like, how have we regressed so much that he's getting 147 games for Celtic? Makes no sense. Maybe he's played 20 that are half decent, but unbelievable. I can't believe he got 2 90-minute games for Scotland. I've never seen a player born with such luck. Got horseshoes up his arse when he was born. But it just seems to be there by default. No one merit. And it doesn't matter how bad he plays. Fucking get Greg Taylor on the team sheet. Not solid 90 minutes for wee Greg. And I think when I see that, I just feel like I'm being taken as a mug. As a fan. It's like, oh, come on. Tell me we've not got anybody better. I've seen somebody commented in the chat, just sort of seen it a wee bit about Frame. I don't know.
Mitchell Frame.
So what I can gather, he's up and coming for the B team and that. Is anybody know any more about him?
No, the interesting thing about that one, Liam, is when he signed a new deal, the Celtics, like, Twitter actually promoted it. Usually when the B team players sign like extensions, it's like it never really gets mentioned. But I think because we've lost so many in recent years where the contracts ran down the way, this was a rarity. One of them actually signed a contract extension. They actually pushed it on the Celtic social media, like delighted that a hot prospect youngster, essentially Mitchell Frame, has signed a new deal. It was like they were so proud of it. So does that mean he's actually good, or is it just Celtic were like, oh my God, a youth player's actually extended his stay? But then, Damien, look at the options right now. This again, where complacency can set in, Liam, where if you don't have competition, Bernardo clearly is not going to make any sort of return to Celtic in the first team. I don't think we'll see him. I think in January, he'll be one of the priority ones to try and get off on probably on a loan. I'll probably send him off on loan back to Argentina or something, because I don't think anyone's going to pay us right now. I think they would have to try before they buy, essentially. So who's Greg Taylor got as competition? Now, we keep saying Liam Scales. He did play as a left wing back for Shamrock Rovers beforehand, but it seems like there's people have came in the chat, and we suggest this before in previous episodes, and said he's better as a centre-back, like left back's a weaker position, but my God, we need something for Greg Taylor competition, because if Taylor does cop an injury right now, between now and the January window, then is Bernardo going to be thrown back in? He's barely played a lick of football this season. He's coming in totally unfit. So what do we do there? So it's a real conundrum, isn't it, Liam?
It's that lack of creativity is doing my head in right now, because it's like, yeah, we see there's a glaring deficiency there. Try something. Try something there. That shouldn't be just a lock-in every single game. It's like we all see there's a problem. Everybody, every manager in the league and outside the league sees it's a problem. Everybody's attacking down that wing. And we're not overly blessed with gifted players on the left-hand side right now. The left-hand side is our weakest part of the park, You got Bernardo and Taylor, and I've got Palma and that. Like, Palma's starting to play well now, or Home in the middle. It always seems that we're the weakest part on that side, and we don't lose a lot of goals, but a lot of the goals start from there that we lose, start in that part of the park, come down there, and then it's, we're losing goals and that. And so, I don't know, I would like to see height and some physicality brought into the back line on that side, because I think it's just like the open door, a broken window that you just need to fix. And I want Rodgers to fix it. And if that means giving Bernabeu a run, give him a run, because you can't do any worse than what happened last week when we watched Greg Taylor trying to muscle a 6 foot.
Oh, be careful, yeah.
Do that, but
I
mean, or change the system so that he's no marking the 6'2" guy in front of Joe Hart. Brendan, come on, pick it up.
Well, for what it's worth, Liam, I did see, because we're getting close to obviously transfer season again, there was a link through the week on Twitter about our left back from the Portuguese league. Another one that's came through Benfica's highly praised youth academy, but he currently transferred away from Benfica and plays for Estoril, who are in the Portuguese top flight, a left back who can also play left midfield as well. So addressing the left-hand side, and apparently this boy's 6 foot tall as well. So read into that what you will, but we'll see. It's that time of the season where we're going to be getting linked with all sorts of names, and we'll need to do all sorts of transfer episodes over January, getting linked to this one. We'll see who we actually sign, if we sign anybody. Watch this space. But let's move on to the midfield, and obviously, Connor, you brought it up earlier on about Turnbull, and do you know what? I actually agree with you. I know Mark will be watching this and having a hissy fit right now going, what? Turnbull? But I understand your logic in it. I think I look at this game and I think of the Ross County one a few weeks ago. It's going to be a very similar game to that. A team that's not going to show much ambition to try and win the game. And of course, who scored their opening goal that day when he started? David Turnbull. Why did he score it? Because he had a shot from outside the area. Just a low one drilled into the corner. So it's like, these are the days when you've got to take them. We talked about it when I was on last week doing FIFA and saying, Sunday Blether, when we talk about the post-mortem after the Motherwell result, things that we can improve on. And I'm saying when you're put up against teams with low block, set pieces are obviously crucial, but also somebody having a goal from outside the area to try and open it up a wee bit, because there's just too much passing. So I actually agree with you that Turnbull should start on Sunday. But in the midfield, though, alongside him, we know that McGregor is obviously going to start because he's captain. But Connor, what have you made of McGregor's performances this season? Because I know Mark's been very vocal about it, and I'm starting to see more and more people, whether it's in a live chat or just on Celtic social media in general, a lot of people are starting to pick up on McGregor's forum. And I think it was said on maybe the Sunday Blether last week, a comment came in and said, look at the difference to McGregor when he plays for Scotland under Stevie Clarke. And David said when I brought that comment up, he said, I think it's just because in the Scotland team right now, they all know what they're doing. I think with this Celtic team right now, I don't think Brendan's really imprinted what he wants to do with this team yet. And I think a few players are still lost at sea. I think McGregor's a victim of that.
I mean, I surely hope there's more to come, because if this is all we're getting this season, then I'm not going to be too happy. And based off of that, then he wouldn't deserve the new contract he was given, in all honesty, because he's had one good game this season, and that was against Rangers at Ibrox. Since then, he's either been mediocre or just anonymous. So, and I don't like saying that because I love Callum McGregor, and he's the captain, and I don't like shitting on the captain. But we used to give Brown a lot of slaggings when he had poor games, and he had poor games, and he'd be the first to want to admit it as well. So, and the thing that's annoying me now is like the difference is also I grew up most of my life with Scott Brown being the captain, and he wasn't scared to call a spade and say they were shite. And even McGregor was as well when he wasn't the captain and when he wasn't as cosy in with the higher ups and with the manager. He would call out, I think it was during maybe the failed 10-0 season, they called it how bad we were. I think it was maybe that game against...
We lost to Sparta Prague, and after that he was like, nobody knows what they're doing. He looked like a deer in the headlights with the big wide eyes, like, nobody knows what they're doing.
Could you imagine him saying something like that now if we got scalped 4-0 off St Johnstone, God forbid, on Sunday?
Please, no.
No, exactly, he wouldn't, because I feel like he's comfy, in his position now, and he doesn't want to, shake the apple cart, as it were. So, honestly, I think there's a lot of guys in the team that are strangely off form, like Kyogo, and he's. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we're not giving him the ball enough. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not going to go into that, but he's dipping in form as well, which is, another reason why we need to look to get a new striker in January to add and aid that strike force up the top. But I think that I've been watching clips recently as well. Of old games, and specifically first time under Brendan Rodgers, Callum McGregor was getting into the opponent's box and scoring goals.
Yes.
And he was scoring good fucking goals, and he was scoring goals in big games, in Scottish Cup finals, and games against Rangers and that. When's Callum McGregor's last goal? I can't remember it. I can't remember.
I remember scoring against Aberdeen about this time last year, but then after that...
Was that the shot that deflected off some new arse? Was it that?
No, that was... We were up at Pittodrie just after the World Cup ended. Remember, we had a game up at Pittodrie, and we were 0-0 till about the 88th minute, and then he scored from taking a shot outside the area. But did he score another one in the second half of the season? I cannot remember. Somebody might come in the chat and tell us. Somebody might, but I remember that one. But that's December last year. That's...
Aye. So I think he's been quite ineffective, honestly. I think, I don't know what it is. It's just certain games he just seems to, it clicks for him, like the games he's had against Rangers. Remember the game we had, I think it was Angie's first season, we beat them 2-1. We went a goal down in the first couple of minutes to Aaron Ramsey, and McGregor just went, fuck this, and he just took the game by the scruff of the neck and was just going for it. He hasn't done that this season, besides obviously the one game against Rangers. And he's meant to be the Celtic captain. He should be doing that day in and day out. And honestly, he's not been doing enough for me. I think he's maybe just burnt out. We know how many games he plays, and he's never really took off. And if he is took off, he's took off in like the 85th minute, where it's it doesn't even make that much of a difference, taking about 5 minutes before the game finishes, and the game's already dead and buried. It makes no difference. Honestly, we can't do it because we need to keep going for the league. We need to keep momentum going. We need to rebuild some momentum as well. We can't be experimenting. But there is a player who I feel like could do a job in that position. You know, you keep players like, you know, O'Reilly and that in their position, and that is Tomoki Iwata. From
Has
what I've
been mentioned
seen,
in the chat. Yep.
he in that position he looks very comfortable. You know, I know people say, "What about those goals he lost to St Mirren?" And he was playing in defence that day.
He was playing centre back that day. Yep.
When we were doing the bare bones, he's looked very comfortable in the midfield from what I've seen of him and games I've seen of him. And he looks composed, and I feel like, and he's strong as well. And I feel like he could do a good job there if we were to give McGregor, I think, the rest he kind of needs to re-energise him, to get him back up to the form that he was showing when he was first Celtic captain. You know, when Ange Postecoglou first came in, and I don't know, lit a fire under him, and you know, even last season as well. But that's a lot easier said than done, considering how imperative it is that we, you know, rubber stamp this league, because we've had opportunities to I think seal this league already. I think if we're up to our best and we are, you know, I think we should be about 15 points clear by now. There's been multiple times where they've dropped points and then we've not capitalised the season, or we've maybe had a slip up and they have then, you know, we've drew or something, or we've lost, and then they've, you know, it's slipped up as well. And if we were on our game, if we are performing to the levels that we should be, this league title should probably already be wrapped up. And that's the thing that's getting, you know, worrying, because it's getting to crunch time now. The schedule's so jam packed, it's so, you know, crazy. You know, we're playing a game every like 3 days now, and it's not going to be kind to the players. No matter what we think of them, you know, they're still human beings. They are going to get burnt out, and it's going to be difficult. So what we do need to see is some sort of reaction this weekend, and get them to, you know, really just try and put that bit of impetus in it for like the next couple of months to just rubber stamp this league title and then make a charge for the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, no, that seems fair. But just quickly touching more on the midfield before we move on to the forwards, Liam. Another guy that's obviously had a chance, Iwata's been mentioned, and I think it's a compelling case for him to get a nod, because you don't win that Japanese Player of the Year and then just come over here and sit on the bench. And they say, you know, obviously we've got buying guys like Kyogo and that who've done a job, so obviously the quality is very good. So Iwata must be a decent player, but we haven't. I still feel that despite the fact he's been here for best part of a year, I still feel like I've not seen enough of him to really decide. And as Connor pointed out, he played a lot of games last season in the wrong position. I'd say wrong position. Apparently he played there when he was playing over in Japan as a sort of utility man. He could fill in there, but that one game in particular didn't go too well against St Mirren and the big clogger up front that day. But another guy in the midfield who's had a chance recently, more so in Europe he gets a chance, is obviously Bernardo. I always like Mark's way of like talking about this, because this guy's obviously on loan with an option to buy. See if we had like, get told tomorrow, would you exercise the right to buy him yet? I would definitely not, because again with Bernardo, I just don't feel like I've seen enough of him. I feel like when he has played, he's looked okay, but I don't think he's really had a real moment in a game yet where I've went, oh wow, that's him arrived so far. He's just kind of, I feel like he just drifts through games at the moment. I couldn't really tell you what his sort of style is in the game. Like sometimes you get an impression when you watch a player enough, you know what they're all about. With Bernardo, I still don't know enough. So, say Mark always uses that sort of like analogy, you know, based on what you've seen him so far, would you actually buy him? And it's like, no, not right now, because but I don't know what's going to, is he just going to be one of these guys that comes here for a year like a Landry and Guemo did, and then he's off again and we never hear of him ever again? Because right now it seems like after all the praise and all the hype around him, all the praise are signing him because he comes from that Benfica youth academy, the Jota stock, essentially. We thought, oh, this could be another one of those, but it's been a bit disappointing up to now, hasn't it?
Maybe one of the tricks the board's trying to play on is, you know, they'll start him again in January, it'll be like a new signing.
Oh, well, yeah, I've heard that line apparently was wheeled out at the presser about Maeda.
Aye.
Oh.
They're already priming us for that. Enough for him? No, really. I've not really enough for him in Scotland. I want to see what he's like with a proper left back behind him. You know, plays on that weak side as well too, because the way we play on that side, whether at home, you notice that the ball goes to the side to Taylor and then it just goes back to McGregor. maybe that's why the two of them are having such a poor season, is that they've run out of ideas. It's like a sort of 15-yard pass every single game. And, it happens with 60% of their game is them passing just 15-yard passes to each other. It doesn't happen in other parts of the pitch. So I imagine if I was a Bernardo or any of the players trying to make a statement in that position, I'd be pretty frustrated at that. There's not a lot of through balls coming through. And when they are, they're usually quite panicky at that point because closed down because you've looked for the easy ball. It's not there. And now you have to do something creative and the panic sets in. That's the way I see it. Would I sign him right now? Nah, as you said, nowhere near the impact Jota or CCV. Yep. I mean, I was looking for a player to sign like Elyounoussi would have been much higher up my list, what he showed us in 2 loan spells than what Bernardo. And, still would have been a good sign. I think it was Mark talking about that the other night.
Well, last night, Mark and Russell brought that up when they were talking about the Champions League. I've looked at Copenhagen this year in the Champions League. They've got Jordan Larsson, who we pushed on this show last year, but people said, you've just got the stars in your eyes because it's Larsson is the name on the back. And Elyounoussi, and they've competed pretty well in their Champions League group compared to us, Liam. Shambles.
Well, I mean, the Larsson one we all thought was a no-brainer. So having said that, and I know we'll get on to the other, and I'll let Connor talk about the midfield in a minute, but Van Hooijdonk, I don't know.
Van Hooijdonk, yep.
Big name with a bit of a lineage, and supposedly there's interest in him in January, so I'd like to see what happens there. But as far as Bernardo, I've not seen anything that's really impressed me. He's looked okay, and same with Home. The two of them are just running the same. They didn't impress me the same way Hatate did when he came into the team. I think when Hatate comes in, that will be a much, much different shape. Hatate, proper left back, a keeper that can play with the ball at his feet. Then we might be start looking like a different team, and that's what I'm needing right now to see Celtic start playing with a lot more dominance right now than what they're used to.
Mm-hmm. No, that's it's a David Bernardo. It's at the moment nothing's really happened so far. But no, hopefully, I mean, I don't want to just give up on the player, and I don't think Celtic will cut the loan short. I think they'll keep him right for January. When it comes to the Nat Phillips one, who's also on loan, I do think he'll be sent back in January because, well, he was brought in basically to cover a lot of the injuries, but it seems like defence are, I hope going to stay fit now through the end of the season. But I have a funny feeling that one will not be extended beyond January. But I can see Bernardo being here at the end of the season, but we're going into this December period, and obviously there's a lot of games, as Conor said, they're coming thick and fast. So hopefully, if Bernardo does get any more chances, if he does play on Sunday, then hopefully he can make an imprint on the game. So far, I just feel like he's not really done anything so far to stand out. And I do agree with what Conor said earlier. I do think it'll be David Turnbull getting the nod. It was what do you call it? The top scorer chart I saw this week was like apparently Turnbull's the top scorer in the league. I was like, what? I was like, what? 7 goals or something like that. I was like, no chance. But that's incredible. But again, it just kind of passes you by. You don't realise it because, but yeah, he's obviously popped up with a few from outside there, and obviously started the season pretty well with the 2 goals against Ross County. But yeah, it's also quite mad that we're going into December and the top scorers on 7 goals. Like, wow, that is quite astounding, that one. But we'll go into the forwards now, the wide ones, because again, Conor, I'll come back to you on this one because you mentioned it earlier on. You brought up that name, Mikey Johnstone, which is offensive words around here to some people. But I can see what you mean. I do think it'll be Palmer will come back in because Palmer missed the game through the week because he was suspended because of the European stuff. And I think Yang will still get the nod. But I said to my dad through watch the game through the week when Johnstone did come on, because naturally Johnstone coming on got a groan. And I said to my dad, look, Johnson's quite direct and he's got a bit of pace, but the thing that lets him down is the decision making. I've always felt with him. And what did he do? The first time he came on, he showed a bit of pace, but he ran at a guy. But he basically ran into traffic, essentially, into 3 Lazio players, just closed them down. He didn't get a pass quick enough, and I was like, there you go, wee bit of pace, but what let him down? Decision making. He didn't know what he wanted to do with the ball once he got in a certain position. But I saw people say this as well through the week, and to be fair, it's a fair analogy. How he looked quite effective when he came on, but then when you look at what he actually replaced, it wouldn't have been hard to be effective coming on. But I do feel bad for the boy in a way, because he's a bit of a sort of an easy target, essentially, a victim of circumstance. It's like, it's not really his fault that he finds himself in this position, that he's getting thrown on. Again, this goes back to the summer, back to the board and all the lack of investment. But yeah, it's quite unfortunate for the boy. Obviously, it would be a great story if he could just, come on, score a winning goal or something, and then, try and get a bit of confidence from that. Realistically, though, I do think it will be Yang and Palmer. And in Palmer's case in particular, as we saw at, for example, when we won at Tynecastle, Connor, how he is so crucial to opening up these defences. Because like the ball that he played for O'Reilly that day to score the opening goal was fantastic. But then you look at last week against Motherwell and you get the sort of, no pun intended, the yin and the yang, essentially, because for the good stuff he does against Hearts, last week against Motherwell, he may as well not have been playing, because he was absolutely rank rotten, and then he had that shocking penalty miss as well. But yeah, Palmer, when he's on a game, is so crucial for us. But when he seems to be off it, he's really off it.
Aye, it's like yeah, it's like Katy Perry song, "You're hot and you're cold." And it's very much annoying, because we're like, at the very start, Palmer's career, we're like, oh my god, this boy looks terrible. Like it was his first game that he came on in Europe. I think it was maybe against Feyenoord. He looked absolutely.
Feyenoord was the first game he started. Yeah,
he looked atrocious. We're like, oh fuck. Then 2 weeks later, we're like, oh my god, he's amazing. And then we had a bad game last week against Motherwell, who, in his defence, been stodgy opposition for us before, even though I don't think he should be. However, I think obviously him having that bit of a rest, not having to travel to Europe and, getting to maybe recharge will, help us. And listen, remember, he only arrived back, I think, the night before the Motherwell game on the Friday.
San Fran Celtic just literally said that.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Spot on.
Great minds think alike. So, and the same thing with Alistair Johnstone as well. I'm sure he'd only just go back for Canada the night before as well. So, it could have been fucking jet lag. I don't know. Because, Polish Palmer is a starter for Honduras. He's been very good.
He is. Yep.
International breaks with his international team. So, it's a bit of a sticky one. But I think it'll be fine. I think on Sunday he's going to score. I don't know if we get a penalty who's going to ask to take it, have a Turnbull. I got a funny feeling it'll probably be Turnbull, but I don't know. This is the thing, is that if both of them are playing, right, and we get a penalty, I don't know who I'd give it to. I know Palmer missed his last one, but David Turnbull's also missed one this season as well. And Lewis Palmer is by all means a set piece specialist, and it would be nice to have a consistent penalty taker who can score them. We can't keep chopping and changing because it doesn't work. But anyway, I digress. In terms of the front line, I would put Mikey Johnstone ahead of Yang. I know you're saying that you think Yang will start, but the way you described what Mikey Johnstone was doing, he comes on, shows a bit of pace, a bit of trickery, and then runs at traffic and has poor decision making. Yang does the exact same, in my opinion. Just to, maybe to a arguably worse degree that on against Lazio the other night. See, I've liked Yang, and then I've no. He looks very slight, and he looks like he's muscled off the ball very easily. I need my players for playing for Celtic to show a wee bit of dig. Now, we're not asking for fucking Terry Hurlocks and shit, fucking big monsters running about the pitch, fucking snapping legs and that, out in the wings. But we do need players who have a bit of grit and to see what this, what this league's about, because you know what you're up against here. They're fucking animals in this league, and they'll take any opportunity to snap their legs off you because they know the ref will know they fuck all about it. And honestly, Mikey Johnson's kind of been there, done it, and by all accounts, he had a decent loan spell away in Portugal the season prior. I think he was quite well liked by the supporters over there, and they've done quite well in the team. So I'm not saying, I have to reiterate this point. I'm not saying he's the answer. He's not. We know that. I think as soon as either Abada or Maeda's back fit, or if we sign someone in January by that point who's a winger, or fucking, I hope to God Jota comes back. That's
yeah.
that's the only thing on my Christmas list this year that I'm asking for, Santa Claus. But until then, I would just give Mikey Johnson this one game. I would just give him this one game, and I'd say, if you want to, for at least a wee while, show what you can do it like right now. Do it right now in this game, and that's the only reason I would do it. Another thing is that Kyogo's very, very limited up top right now. He's very limited. I don't know what the hell is going on there. And I don't even necessarily think it's Kyogo's fault.
Yep.
Because we know the kind of player that Kyogo is. He's a penalty box striker. You know where he's going to be. He's going to be breaking the lines. He's going to be in that position to put that ball in the back of the net. And if you're not giving the ball to him, that's the other player's issue. Kyogo's where he's supposed to be. Kyogo shouldn't be running back into the midfield to get the ball to then proceed up the top of the park and then try and score a goal. He wasn't doing that under Ange. He wasn't doing that before. So I don't understand why it's not happening now. We seem to be trying to whip balls in for crosses and that, or we're trying crosses, that he's not getting on the end of. There's no real through balls coming through from the midfield trying to be adventurous. There was times before where we would try good balls over the top for him to get on the end of, which is not happening anymore. So I don't know if to just completely run out of ideas, and we're going to have to just see what happens until we get somebody.
Connor, I can tell you, every game that I go to at Celtic Park, there will be at least one moment that because you don't pick this up on the TV cameras, where Kyogo will make a decent run through the middle and they won't pass it to him, and you'll see him throw his hands up in the air, because he tries to make a bit of space. It happens every game, but see, the TV cameras don't pick up. It's one of these off the ball things, but he's always on the move. He's always trying to make space. But this passing sideways and whatnot and waiting for space to open up, they're not seeing it. But to be fair, I must caveat this, I saw it happening last season as well when Andrew was still in charge. I saw it happen quite a few times as well, where he'd be making those runs and they just don't see him quick enough, and he's throwing the hands up in the air like God, but so it does happen. But yeah, he's always on the move, he's always looking for space.
Can I ask you a quick question? Do you think, both of you think, the teams in Scotland, right, are getting worse in terms of just this part of the bus mentality? I feel like it's all I'm seeing week in, week out. And not even just against Celtic. If I'm watching, the dirty bastards there and play,
them. Yeah,
I'm watching them, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's almost as if these teams aren't even trying at their home grounds, are just trying not to lose. And it's really depressing to watch as well. It's just shite football. Do you agree with me on that?
Aye, I've seen it for many years now. So I've been going since 2007, and it has got. It's not a new thing, but it's been getting progressively more stodgy. And these teams aren't obligated to come and play open football. I understand why they do it, but my God, some of it's getting really turgid. But then you will get a game will come along where a team does come to Glasgow and have a bit of a go. And it ends up being quite an entertaining game. Like when Ross County on the first day of the season, they were quite open for the first half anyway. Obviously, it backfired on them, but it was a bit of a team come and have it. It's a bit refreshing when a team does come and have a go. But then you look at last week, and fair play to Motherwell, they took their chance when it came. Their chance, not even plural, just chance. That was all they needed, and they got it. But I say these teams aren't obligated, didn't they, Liam? They've got to do what they've got to do. But it's up to Celtic to find a way into it, Liam.
Well, that's it. You get teams that come in. You don't want to be on the end of your hiding. If you got family and all that watching and all that, they're all Scottish teams and Scottish players and that. And I think that's it. And every now and again, as you've seen even with Aberdeen 2 weeks ago, we've got the ability to come out and give a team a good threat every now and that must be absolutely horrible. I mean, when it happened to us with Atletico Madrid, it's a fucking shit feeling. Like so much despair. Your team's absolutely shite, and you just see all the deficiencies and all that. And so you see, I think it's part for their self-preservation, just as a team, has been able to carry themselves as professional football players. You're going to be much more defensive, and if you have to block and you have to do and hang on and hope you can squeak something out, absolutely, you're going to try and do that. But we need to find a way through that and playing the same way and hoping that somehow we're going to unlock it, through them pulling them out their shell. That's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
What I'm missing for last year is we used to force teams into mistakes. Maeda, Kyogo, all the guys were running at players with the balls, with the ball, and they would get the ball coming out, and we would take the ball off them, and it was the turnovers. I mean, it happened against even Rangers and all that as well. Where they were panicking because we were swarming them. And I think we've lost a lot of that this year because we're so much on the ball. And we're on the ball, we're not attacking. When as soon as they've got the ball, we need to be right on them, right up them, so pressing them to make mistakes. And that part's disappeared because everybody wants to be the ball player right now. And when everybody's the ball player, everybody's marked. So that ball just fucking goes back into the classic horseshoe that we've grown to know and love.
Yeah, speaking of the opening these teams up, will they do it on Sunday, Liam? Will it be a resounding victory? Will we beat that low block? No problem on Sunday, but will it be a canter? Will it be a bit of a slog? Will we get there in the end? Because I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0. I say it might be, need to wait for the first goal for a little bit, but I think we'll get out of there with a 2-0 victory. I think I'll take any victory right now because I say, but at that stage of the season where we just need to get through to the January window, to the winter break, and kind of refresh ourselves a wee bit. But yeah, I'll say a 2-0. Liam, what you saying to it?
I think I'll say the same as what I thought we should have beat Motherwell by. I was saying 3-1. I think they might be able to get something from us right now. We're no collectively playing our best at the back, so they could get one. And then we should be able to take at least 3 goals after this team. Absolutely. Come home. And I want to see Craig Levine's greeting face at the end of it.
Yes.
Is it going to be VAR? Has he had a good VAR wins yet? Don't think so.
God. Yeah.
Just a fucking miserable human being, isn't
it? Yes, he definitely is that. It'll be good to see him raging at the end.
Going with Craig Levine, like, fuck, nobody's drinking.
One of my favourite ones is still when just after Brendan had left and Neil Lennon took over that night for the game at Tynecastle. It was Craig Levine that was in the opposite dugout, and it's that look of like when we scored the last minute goal, he's just standing like that. He can't believe it. He can't believe that we scored that last minute goal. But that'd be great to see him repeat that look again this weekend if we could score another late goal, whatever to beat them. As long as we beat them, that's all that matters. Connor, what about yourself? Do you think it'll be a resounding victory, or one of these we'll just do what we have to do, or something in the middle, somewhere in between?
Well, after the performance against Aberdeen, I was convinced we'd put about 4 or 5 past Motherwell. And I was sorely mistaken.
Yeah.
Now we're going away against a really stodgy team under Craig Levine. So I'm going to say 3-0 at a push.
Okay.
Knowing me, it'll probably be like a 1-0 scrape by 85th minute. And they just start pinging balls for their fucking own half. Try to get an equaliser, and we're all like again making buttons. But honestly, I'll go for 3-0. A part of me would like to, for us to really put them with the sword and for us to regain a bit of confidence, because I think that's what we need. I do think we do need a bit of a comeback and a bit of a or do you know what? The players, right? I don't know, it's not their fault, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. Deserve to give the fans a bit of an apology for that shite the other night. They really do.
Yep.
Rome's no a cheap city to go to. It's not a cheap city to fly to. It's not cheap to get fucking tickets.
And
folk have partied with their hard-earned cash to go and watch that absolute dross that we saved up the other night. And the same people will probably be back at the work the next again day, and will probably head to that game on Sunday as well. Getting away tickets and that. So they deserve a result. We deserve an apology from the team for that. So, I honestly, do you know what? 3-0. Hodge with 3-0.
Although your tube coming in with a great prediction here. Liam, Greg Taylor, last minute scorpion kick goal, 1-0. Remember last season we had the goal where Giacomakis scored in like the 96th minute after they'd equalised in like the 94th minute. Remember that one as well? So it was a bit of a stodgy one that day, but hey, so as long as we get the 3 points.
Do you know what 2 players were implemental in that goal?
It was James McCarthy and Bernardo, wasn't it?
Alexandro Bernabé. Jesus Christ.
God, where has he gone? But Connor, it's time for me to face the quiz. You're not getting away that easily. Liam's rubbing his hands and everything. So yeah, it's the new quiz on a Friday night. I'm trying to get a bit back to what the Friday night show used to be, because there was a quiz on here. Fun fact, Connor never did the double down quiz. He was the only one that managed to body swerve it, but he's not body swerving this one. Oh no, he's not. So the new quiz by the numbers. So basically I have got shirt numbers, Celtic shirts with numbers on the back, player names. And it's a bit like the game show from the 90s, Play Your Cards Right, where you guess higher or lower. Will the next number that I show you be higher or lower than the last one? And you'll have to answer a question on the player that comes up as well. So there are 5 you've got to navigate your way through, Connor. There's a potential 10 points on the board to be won. Liam is sitting top, as I said, with a score of 9 out of 10 last week. So only one score can beat him. Will Connor step up to the plate and will he take top of the table? Nah, Liam's not convinced. Liam's like, nah, no chance. So I will get all the aesthetics set up like I do on a certain desk. Get all that going with the background and the music and everything I do on a Monday as well. So it's not just the boys brothers that get terrorised on now with the quizzes. It's anyone that comes on the Friday show that's not done it yet. This is part of the remit now if you come on. So yeah, we will get going in a moment. I need to go cheer stuff.
Oh, everybody, please be kind to me. After it was going to be an absolutely terrible performance.
This one's not as hard as sudden death because it's multiple choice answers, right, Connor. Okay, so you might hear one of the answers and it'll jog your memory.
To be fair, I'm pretty good at the chase, so let's see how this goes.
Okay, yeah, a wee bit of the chase going on here then. So, Connor, can you obviously see the by the numbers graphic on the screen? Yes?
I can, yes.
Good stuff. Okay, so basically I'll show you the first shot. Now, you don't need to do anything in terms of questions with the first shot. That's just your starter one, right? After that, there'll be 5 more. So my first question to you will be, will the next shot be higher or lower? So shot number 1 that you're starting on is number 9, Chris Sutton. So you get a point if you get the higher or lower correct. So do you think the next shot number that comes up will be higher or lower than a 9? Keep in mind, we've had some pretty mental squad numbers at Celtic over the years. So always keep that in mind as well. Higher or lower than a 9.
See, this is how you're a bastard. You're not getting invited to my wedding, honestly, whenever it happens. But fucking 9? 9? Really?
Higher or lower than a 9?
See, you're going to throw me some fucking curveball, aren't you? I'll go higher.
Higher than a 9. It is. It's a 7. Oh. It's lower. There's a lot. We've got to remember a lot more players have worn lower numbers than higher numbers. You've got to remember that as well. So you've got a question now on Scott McDonald, right? So Scott McDonald, he didn't initially wear number 7 when he first joined the club. Which number did he wear during his first season? Was it 17, 27, or number 9?
I'm going to go for number 17.
It was number 27. Oh, unlucky, Connor. Unlucky, mate. Okay, so higher or lower than a 7?
Higher.
42, Cal McGregor. Somebody spoke about it tonight, so yes, good. It's a good shot to get, essentially, for the next one. So, question on Cal McGregor. He had a loan spell early in his Celtic career, but which lower league English team did he go on loan to? Was it Notts County, Grimsby Town, or Lincoln City?
Notts County.
It was Notts County, yes, indeed. Off the mark now. So, higher or lower than a 42?
Lower.
And it is... It's 19, Barry Robson. So, here we go. Although I think I might have gave away the answers to you, Connor. So there you go. You've got a freebie, mate. But there you go. So Barry Robson, 19. So a question on Barry Robson is... he scored on his Celtic debut, his first touch, but against which team? Dundee United, Aberdeen, or Inverness, Caledonian Thistle?
Sorry, was it Inverness, Dundee, or Caledonian Thistle?
Aberdeen, Inverness, Aberdeen, or Dundee United. It was. I said that many words.
I'll go Inverness.
It was Aberdeen, mate. It was Aberdeen on that one. Now, here's a memory test for you. Are you paying attention to the numbers that might have came up? Higher or lower than a 19?
Higher.
And then 1927, Mark Birchall. Okay, so Mark Birchall, this is a good question. Until 2023, this is quite amazing, this stat. Mark Birchall held the record for the fastest hat-trick scored in the UEFA competition. What small nation were the team created his hat-trick against? Were they from Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, or Andorra? I'm not going to ask you for the team name, just the country that they came from. So it was one of the minnow nations.
I feel like whenever you've been doing the Bustalgia, you spoke about games in the past, and all the wee mental nations that would play against.
Yep.
I don't know why, but I want to say Liechtenstein.
Oh, it's Luxembourg. It's the other one with L. Oh, unlucky, mate. Unlucky. See, I thought, no, I'm going to ask you for the team name. So I can't even pronounce the team name. I thought I'll just ask you for the country that it came from. But yeah, higher or lower than a 27. See, memory test here, Connor.
I'll go higher. It's been good to me so far. I'll go higher.
All right, no worries, mate. And it is final. It's Baldy, number 6. Okay, so Bobo Baldy joined Celtic from which French League 1 team? Was it Bordeaux, Montpellier, or Toulouse?
Oh, fuck. I just watched a video about Bobo Baldy as well, like 2 weeks ago. So was it Montpellier, Toulouse, or who?
Or Bordeaux.
I feel like we got Christopher Julian for Toulouse. So I'll go with. Sorry, for the other options. Montpellier, Toulouse, and
Bordeaux. Now, we did get Christopher Julian for Toulouse, you are right on that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we might have got Baldy for a different team. So keep that in mind. You don't need to just base it on, we got Julian for that one team. So.
Well, if you're saying that, I'll go with Toulouse. I was going to say Bordeaux.
Toulouse. I was trying to steer in the right direction. Your thinking was, I could see what you were thinking, but I was like, no. So yeah, so out of that, you got the number of questions right. It was same as Mark and David got. They get 2. And then the numbers guesses, it was 3 out of the 5 you got on that one. So the one shot of Mark and David. But of course, Liam stays top of the board for the time being. And say if somebody comes along and gets a 10 out of 10, then it's all gravy, and they will be top of the table. But yeah, that's you. You've now done the quiz. That's it out of the way now, Connor. You don't need to worry about it. That's it. I only need the people who come on to do it once and register a score. So you've done it, mate. You have successfully navigated it. Well done, mate. Well done.
Thank you. Didn't embarrass myself as much on that one as the last one. So yeah,
not too bad. Yeah, it was all right, mate. It was not too bad at all. But yeah, folks, that's us hit over an hour now. So that's another Friday feeling in the books. So yeah, it'll be Sunday, permitting. I said at the top of the show, permitting. The weather's actually all right, because it is absolutely freezing across Scotland right now. Sub-zero temperatures. How is it in Canada, Liam? Is it rain, snow, sub-zero, quite mild?
It's been a wee bit colder, but I'm in Vancouver. It's not the same as in Toronto, Montreal.
Not too bad.
In Baltic, here it's quite mild, so it's not bad. Wee bit of rain, wee bit dreiche. It's like tell my Canadian girls.
Wee bit dreich.
Wee bit dreich.
Wee bit dreich. I wish it was that there, because it'd be a wee bit milder here, because right now I say there's temperature struggling to get above 0, so who knows what that'll do for Perth on Sunday. But I say I do expect the words we'll wake up on Sunday morning, there'll be a pitch inspection going on. But if it goes ahead, be 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'll probably be along with David and Co for the Sunday Blether before the game. Nice early one to get us going. Hopefully, I say the game goes ahead, and then PMP should be on after that. So yeah, folks, we are out of here. Enjoy whatever you get up to. Well, I'll say for the rest of the night. There isn't much of the night left, but whatever you get up to tomorrow in the freezing cold of Scotland. And hopefully we're all celebrating another Celtic victory on Sunday, because it is one of those circumstances where we will be playing ahead of them, albeit a couple of hours, but any opportunity we get, we need to obviously take it after getting off the hook last week. So no messing about, Celtic, get the job done. And yeah, folks, we will catch you on the next one. See you later, folks.
Bye. Keep your eye on